My question's to the Minister of Social Development and Employment. What recent changes have been made by work and income for people on unemployment benefits?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, we have changed the way work and income case management works by letting people on the unemployment benefit access the first available case manager for standard inquiries. Work and income have reduced waiting times and allowed case managers to see 32% more beneficiaries. This is just one example of how we are helping more people into work.
The Honourable Annette.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Does she stand by her statements that those who are looking for work but cannot find it will not be penalised, and that she's taking great care to be reasonable in implementing the new work test requirements? If not, why not?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, yes, and I do have obligations and incentives in place that I think make it a fairer system, and there is obligations on people to be making sure that they turn up to appointments, that they are ready to be work ready when they're on the unemployment benefit wherever possible.
Supplementary question, Mr Speaker. Is it reasonable to require a recently unemployed person to seek at least 3 job interviews per day in order to comply with the new work test requirements, or else have their benefit cut, particularly in places like South Auckland, where there's high unemployment and few jobs available?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I suppose the difference is that I believe that people can find work, and I support them in that and back them to get out there and go to interviews, and I'm very optimistic that they can find work if they are looking.
Point of order, the Honourable Darren.
I don't believe that answer addressed the question that was put down by the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, which was a specific question about the reasonableness of 3 requirements a day in terms of an interview. The Minister said she believes in people finding work. I don't think there's any Member of Parliament who doesn't, so her answer didn't add anything to the question that's being sought by Annette King.
Well, the question did ask, does she think it's reasonable? Now, that's asking an opinion, and there's no precise answer to... And in the Minister's answer, she clearly implied, and correct me if I'm wrong here, that she did think it was reasonable, or she would have said, no, it's not unreasonable. And so her answer clearly implied that and if that's not the case, the Minister better correct the answer. But she doesn't appear to wish to, so supplementary question.
Is it reasonable to require a recently unemployed person to apply for 10 jobs, that is, put in 10 applications a week, otherwise have their benefit cut, even if they don't have the qualifications and experience for that job? Or does, for example, a 22-year-old unemployed person with no qualifications applying for a job as Professor of Maths at Auckland University meet her work test criteria?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, what I will say to the member is you can't find a job unless you're looking, and I support those people to look for work. I'm actually quite pleased that Work and Income are showing them jobs that are available and suggesting they apply. I'm sure that there is a level of reasonableness that is expected and that they are jobs that they are qualified for, and the odd mistake may be made, but you cannot find a job unless you're looking, which is a key policy for this side.
The Honourable Annette King.
Supplementary question. What is fair about a situation where some people have to comply with unrealistic obligations for her work test requirements, yet in other cases a minister can go overseas for 6 weeks on full pay and fail to meet her obligations as a minister, such as responding to the Speaker's request to answer written questions?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr Speaker, I tell you what's not reasonable is leaving people to a lifetime on the unemployment benefit and not work testing them, which is what happened for 9 long years under the previous government, and this one will stand up, and this one will actually support people into work wherever possible.
Order. Order. I don't know whether the member could hear the answer. Order. It's my fault that happened, but I'm simply would ask members, please, the level of interjection, there's nothing wrong with showing support for an answer, but the level of interjection is totally unreasonable there, and it's not fair on the person asking the question. What I'm prepared to do under the circumstances is, in fact, give the member another supplementary question if she would like to have it, because I think members have got to realise that the House deserves to hear an answer. So if the Honourable Annette King would like to have an extra one, the Speaker's just said she can.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order.
Do I take from the Minister's answer that she does believe it is reasonable for a person to apply for a job they have no hope of getting, for example, as Professor of Maths at Auckland University, when they have got no qualification, but that fixes her work test requirement, so therefore makes it right?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, now what you can take from my answer was that we do think it's reasonable that people look for work, that we think it's unreasonable to leave them to a lifetime of benefit dependency, that yes, work and income will be case managing and working alongside those people that are working unemployment benefit, that yes, I did learn a lot on my trip, thank you, while I was away. I mean, to the point where I actually got to have lunch with her former Prime Minister, which was quite a privilege, I must say.
Order. The final supplementary question that was asked by the Honourable Annette King did not contain anything about the member's trip or lunch appointments. And what's more, order. I'm on my feet, and the Minister will sit down, resume her seat when the Speaker gets to his feet. Supplementary question, Katrina Shanks.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, what has been the effect of the government's unrelenting focus on work for young people?
The Honourable Paula
Mr.
Bennett.
Speaker, the proportion of young...
Order. Look, there's no way I could hear. There's no way I could hear what the Minister was saying then at all. So I'd ask, please, a little more reasonableness in the House. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, the proportion of young people on the unemployment benefit continues to decrease, with it now at around 30.3% of the total. That is down from 32.1% this time last year, and it represents a drop of 736 young people in the last month. That is great news no matter which side of the House you sit on.
Question. I beg your pardon, the Honourable Jim Anderton, supplementary question.
Mr. Speaker, can I ask the Minister to be very clear about what she said? As I understand it, she's saying that all people who are unemployed are looking for work or are not looking for work, or all the people who are unemployed have looked for work, have got a job because they looked. Is that what you're saying?
Mr. Speaker, I can understand that member might be looking for work, and I wish him well in that, but...
Point of order, Mr. Speaker.
Order. The Honourable Darren Hughes.
Mr. Speaker, it cannot be in order for a minister to begin their answer with such a gratuitous put-down of a member asking a question, particularly a member as senior as Mr. Anderton.
Order. Now, look, there'll be some other members leaving this chamber soon if the place doesn't come to order. Members know I'm pretty tolerant of a robust session. There's no problem with that. But the House is being unreasonable today, and I'm not going to tolerate that. Now, the interesting point, the Honourable Darren Hughes has raised a point of order about the answer that was being given, but had he listened to the supposed question, as Speaker, I could have ruled the question out because it wasn't really a question at all. And so it's very difficult for me to clamp down on a minister faced with such a statement that was sort of masquerading as a question. And I think there's got to be balance in these things. With that kind of question, I can't be too hard on ministers. But I would ask the minister, please don't be gratuitous in answering the question. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, I suppose the policy is quite clear that people on the unemployment benefit should be work ready, should be able to attend interviews wherever possible, should be able to be making themselves as available for work as they can as the circumstances arise.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Is the implication of what the Minister is saying that the threefold increase in unemployment beneficiaries that have increased under her watch is because people aren't trying hard enough? And if so, how does she explain the fact that 2,700 people in my electorate were looking for 150 jobs at a new supermarket that opened?
The Honourable Paula Bennett.
No, not at all. In fact, I'm very pleased to say that 2,250 people came off the unemployment benefit last month, and I believe, though, that there needed to be a balance of